Welcome back to Making Food Monday. This week, Daddy begged me to use the clams that we got off the beach just a few days ago. So today I'm gonna make a low-carb clam chowder. For today's recipe, we are going to need sour cream, heavy cream, chicken bouillon powder, black pepper, paprika, thyme, celery salt, clam juice, garlic, bacon, celery, and onion. We're gonna use cauliflower instead of potatoes, and that's gonna make it low carb. If you don't need low carb, you can always throw in potatoes instead of cauliflower. That will work the same. You'll just have to cook it a little bit longer. We're also gonna use some parsley for garnish, and of course, the star of our show today is gonna be our clams. These are razor clams harvested from the beach. If you don't have these, you can also use canned clams. That's hard to say. But that should be all we need for our recipe today, guys. First up today, I'm gonna go ahead and dice my onion. Then when I get my onion diced, I'm just gonna set it aside. Up next, I'm gonna slice my celery. Gonna need about 3 to 4 sticks of celery. That should be plenty. My celery will actually be going into my soup the same time my onion does, so I'm gonna set it aside with the onion until we're ready for it. Up next, I'm gonna dice a few pieces of bacon. Mine are frozen, so I'm gonna use as many as I can get off of my frozen chunk because I forgot to thaw it. So let's see what I've got here. So I'm gonna use about that much because that looks like what's gonna come off easy here. You need between 3 and, I don't know, however many that is. Just a couple of strips of bacon so you can get some yummy bacon flavor. We need to add our diced bacon to our pot. It's not necessarily diced, it's just cut into small pieces. I don't know why I call everything diced. Everything's not diced. Anyhow, our cut up bacon into the pot. Then we're gonna drop down here to our sear roast function. We're gonna get that turned on. And now it's time to prepare my clams. Now, because we have so many clams, I'm not really concerned about how much I use. I'm just gonna use a bunch. But if you're gonna follow the recipe, it calls for about 16 ounces of clams. The clams that you get out of a can will likely already be cut up, so you probably won't have to do this step at all. But I'm gonna cut my clams approximately the same size as I cut my bacon. That ought to be enough. Now once I've finished with my clams, my bacon is clearly finished frying, which is awesome. I've got all this yummy grease in here that I'm going to be using for flavor, and because on a low-carb diet, it's really good to keep your fat up. If you're not on a low-carb diet and don't need your fat up, feel free to drain some of the grease out if you need to, but don't forget to deglaze the bottom of your pot because this will likely make your pot not seal. So make sure you take care of the bottom of the pot. Now I made sure to turn off my sear roast function. I'm gonna go ahead and add my onions and celery. Then I'll go ahead and mix those in. Make sure and get them incorporated nicely. There we are. Now we're trying to cool off our pot just a little bit because we don't want our clams to start cooking just yet. The very next thing in our pot is gonna be our clams. We're just gonna layer those in. I'm gonna have probably a lot more clams than you, don't worry about that. But you can use 2 cans if you like a lot of clam. Then we're gonna add 2 teaspoons of garlic. There's 1 and 2. Then I'm gonna add 1 cup of clam juice. There's 1 cup of clam juice. Yeah, so for the record, that was just 1 bottle of clam juice. I need 1 teaspoon of thyme. 1 teaspoon of thyme. Half a teaspoon of pepper. Half a teaspoon of pepper. Half a teaspoon of celery salt. Half a teaspoon of celery salt. And half a teaspoon of paprika. Half a teaspoon of paprika. Then we need to add 2 cups of water. There's 1 and 2 cups of water. And 2 teaspoons of chicken bouillon powder. There's 1 And there's 2 teaspoons. Now we're gonna mix all of this up, make sure our flavors are well combined and nothing sort of dry on top. And that's it, guys, we're ready to seal up our pot. We're gonna drop down to our chicken function because that's our high pressure. We're gonna take the time cook down to just 1 minute. And start. Now clams and cauliflower do not take long to cook, but clams take just a little bit longer than cauliflower. So if you don't want your cauliflower to be mush, you should cook your clams first, then add your cauliflower and cook it again. Also, if you're gonna add potatoes instead of cauliflower, this recipe should work just fine. It won't be low carb if you add potatoes, but that's okay, it should still be delicious. The thing is, you're gonna wanna add just a little bit more time if you do potatoes. So you're gonna wanna probably do it for 4 minutes so that you get those potatoes cut nice and small, nice and soft. Okay guys, our 1 minute is up. We're gonna go ahead and let the pressure out. There we are, and open up our pot. It smells very clammy at this point, which is not unexpected. We'll go ahead and give it a quick stir. Now I'm gonna add my 2 1-pound bags of cauliflower. There's 1, and there's 2. I'll go ahead and mix them in as well. Then I'm gonna seal my pot right back up. This time I'm gonna go into my vegetable function and I'm gonna bring the time cook down to just 1 minute, and that should be enough for our cauliflower. I rarely use a function that's not my chicken function. I use that for almost everything, so it's really strange for me to push a different button. I hope that the amount of pressure this puts the cauliflower under will be just a little bit less, and maybe we'll get just a little bit more of a bite out of our cauliflower, and it's not so mushy. Our time has expired one more time. Now it's time to let our pressure back out. There we go. Now we can open this up for the last time. Whew. Hot in there, who'd have thought? And now we're ready to add our heavy cream. There's 1 cup and half a cup. So it's 1.5 cups total. And the last thing we need to add is half a cup of sour cream. Half a cup of sour cream. Now we're gonna mix all of this up one last time. There we go, guys, low carb razor clam chowder. Okay, Jax, I've got it made and it's plated. Now we need our
guinea pigs.
Do it!
Guinea pigs!
Here come the guinea pigs. What?
My head really hurts.
Oh no! A hurdy pig, a
Stumbly
violent pig, a stumbly pig, and a daddy pig.
And me.
Yay! And the guinea pigs.
And the guinea pigs.
Who thinks it smells awesome?
It smells good.
Mia doesn't think it smells yummy.
It's clammy.
Who wants to taste it first? There's only one guy with a spoon up? All right, Dad, you're it.
I'm excited because we
digged all these clams.
dug them out.
Good.
We digged them.
We digged them.
Dig it.
It's good.
I'm not convinced.
I would like it a little thicker. It's too
Okay.
it's not thick enough.
Okay.
So texture-wise, that's the only difference. I was expecting it to be very clammy because of, is that a word? Very clammy. But the bacon definitely like tones it down, and it's a good mixture. The added fat to the clams. I like it. I think it's good. I would have liked it to be a little thicker because it's runny.
I see.
It's soup.
Yeah.
It's not creamy.
I gotcha.
I prefer creamy, but flavor-wise, I think it's good. And with cauliflower, I don't miss the potatoes.
So how many thumbs are you gonna give that, Dad?
Just because I like thick clam chowder, I'm gonna give it a 1.5 thumbs.
Sideways
good.
thumb from Dad. Ooh, I don't know if I like that. My odds aren't looking so good. All right, who's next? Let's do Jordan.
All right. No. good clam chowder. I'm just not that hungry. Could use a little salt.
I was kind of thinking it probably would be able to, it would probably need a little salt.
Could use a little salt, but other than that, it's good clam chowder. Oh, I do agree with Dad that it does, I would like it a bit more thick. I'd like it a
Thicker?
bit
I thought that too when I saw it. I was like, oh, I thought it would be thicker than this, but it's okay. How many thumbs are you going to give that, Jordan?
I'm gonna give that a good 2 thumbs up.
All right. Thanks, man. Who's next? I think Mia is dug further into her cave. So, Mia, come on out. It's time to try your dinner.
I'm not sure if this is gonna be good.
I'm not either. Have a taste and let's see.
I don't know if it was clam or cauliflower that I got.
Was
But
it good?
anyway, it's kind of good. Try this one.
Nice. Thanks, Mia. That's
Welcome.
actually way better than I expected. All right. It's my other little cave dweller. Hello. Come out of your cave. Come up here. Taste your soup. Do you like clam chowder? Not so much.
Look at the liquid first. Look at the liquid.
Good idea.
The liquid.
Okay, I believe you. You're gonna taste something else? There's a
Taste the
bacon
clam.
in there.
Taste the clam.
There's a bacon and a clam in there.
Where? Is this bacon?
I can't tell. You have to taste it and tell me if it's bacon. That wasn't bacon? Is it good? Not so much? All right.
No.
I accept your 1,000 thumbs down. I knew you wouldn't like this one. Thanks for trying it. Okay, guys, my final thoughts. I think this recipe is very tasty. It has all the right flavors to be a good chowder, but it's not quite thick enough, and I'm not sure without the potatoes how to thicken up this recipe. So if you make this recipe with potatoes, it would probably be really good, spot on. It's a little thinner than I like, but it's a low carb variety, so I think that's just kind of what you get with the territory. Maybe you could thicken it up with a cornstarch slurry. I'm just not sure that would be the right texture. But you could try it if you were really that concerned about the texture, because the flavor, like I said, is very good. It wasn't at all super clammy like I kind of feared that it might be. I thought it was gonna be like super clammy because I put so much clam in it, and it really wasn't. It was delicious. It had lots of clam, it was delicious. This one, yeah, 2 thumbs up for me. It's good. Who thought the clam chowder was yummy? Who thought it was completely inedible? I thought, aside from the texture, the consistency, the thickness of it, it was actually very good. I thought it was really, really tasty. So if I can figure out a way to thicken it and make it taste, like make it feel more like clam chowder, I would be much happier with it. But the taste of it was delicious. I really enjoyed it. So I think that's a great way to use our clams that we dig on our clam digs. But for tonight, I think it's time to put my Smartypantses to bed. So,
If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Want to make this channel strong? Share it with your friends. And now, good night, YouTube. See you tomato. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe now. Touch it. Poof. Mom, no.
but it was good.
No.
You don't know it was good.